Hello, unbridled souls. Welcome back to Unbridled, Unleashed, Uncensored, Pathway to Pleasure, however you want to call this YouTube channel, as long as it feels good to you. Today, I want to talk about charge. What is charge? I have a quote from John Pierrakos. And I found that this quote, it really hit me. It really hit me in my relationship with energy. So the basic substance of a person is energy. The movement of energy is life. The freer the energy movement, the more intense the life. So charge is the key to our life force. It is our life force. And it's known by many other names, such as chi, prana, libido, the force, Kundalini. But whatever the name, they all describe the same thing: the basic energy that runs through all of life. So what does charge feel like? And we've all experienced charge. And it usually feels like that there's basically is this electrical charge running through your system. So you can feel excited, you can shiver, you can shake, you can laugh, you can cry. But there's this aliveness, there's this exhilaration within you. Now, I'm not labeling it positive or negative. We're just talking about that felt sense of in this body, what the charge feels like. Now, charge can also become blocked or unbalanced. And it is when we are experiencing blockage, when we are experiencing the unbalanced, that we feel off in our lives, that perhaps we are experiencing some discomfort, some dis-ease. So perhaps you felt this way. I remember when I was going through, I was having a lot of charge through my body, very unbalanced many years ago, feeling a lot of anxiety. So too much charge can feel like you are jumping out of your skin. People who have a lot of charge in their system have a very hard time relaxing. It's impossible. It's really impossible to relax because this electric force is going through their body. And this could, people can feel anxious. Like I said, I had been experiencing anxiety, or even afraid, right? So having too much, when you actually have anxiety, too much charge, you also can lead to panic attacks, which are fearful in nature. So you can feel fearful. You can be afraid of moving forward in your life because things feel very unsettled. Or you can feel, if you have too much charge, you can feel too much anger. You can have that charge of anger that is feeling like it just needs to come out. And this can begin to hurt your relationships. An example with blocked charge is that blocked charge can lead to depression. So people who are experiencing depression, they feel either withdrawn. There's no energy, like they're lethargic. Right? Life does not light them up. It's hard to get up in the morning. When our charge is blocked, we can also start seeing the manifestation of disease in the body, in the physical body. So if you think about the meridians, the energy meridians in our body, that, like the acupressure points, acupuncture points, that when if you think about them like as a highway, right? And when you're driving along the highway, all of a sudden you come to this, this roadblock, or there's a backup, and things start to slow down, and you can't see beyond this blockage. You don't. There's this disconnect, and that's what happens in our meridians when we have blocked energy charge. Energy, this life force gets blocked, is the energy cannot flow freely, and so that the places that are getting innervated by these meridians aren't getting their nutrients, aren't being nourished the way that they need to be, and they start to break down. Imagining a plant, when you don't give it any water, it starts to wilt, it starts to break down, it starts to die. So to be healthy, we need a balanced flow of charge moving through our bodies, right? So we have this balance. To have this balance, I should say, is we need to be able to differentiate whether these charges are positive or negative. So although every charge is neutral in nature, it's energy. It's just energy, right? What it does, it takes the form that we give it by our beliefs, by our emotions, and by our life experiences. So however we are presenting in the world is how our energy, our charge, is going to be manifested. Essentially what we need to do is we must begin to look at our emotional and our physical habits in order for this charge to remain neutral and for it to be a life-enhancing energy instead of a life-depleting energy. So I'm going to talk a little bit today, just briefly, about some things that we can do to increase this charge in our body, to increase life force energy in our bodies. And these are very basic. I mean, this is a very complex, it's a complex issue, but once you understand it, it is very simple. It always comes back. It always comes back to our choices, how we choose to live our life, how we choose to bring in the energy within us and how it needs to be expressed. So again, just very general, these are just very general ideas to work with. In the meantime, before you start really, deep diving into that inner space that needs to be cultivated for your healing and enable you to live optimally in the highest version of yourself. So some activities that do increase the charge in our bodies, when we're feeling depleted or lethargic, feeling not so much energy flowing through us, one is inhaling, is breathing in, filling our bodies with the prana, with the life force. And you can start also bringing in the visualization of what you are breathing in. You could be breathing, I am breathing in, energetic waves of enthusiasm and happiness into my body at every inhale. And in just deep inhales, like long, deep inhales and slow exhales. We can also increase our depletion and feeling lethargic by eating high vibrational foods, not the ice cream, not the chips, but really going to the top source coming right off of Pachamama, the fruits, fresh fruits from the trees, fresh vegetables from your garden or from the farmer's market, green leafy vegetables that really nourish. Beets nourish our blood. It's a great place to, they are great things to eat. Root vegetables are great things to eat when we want to start to feel grounded, when we're feeling depleted. So we need to feel grounded to the earth to start feeling nourished. Resting, you know, if you are feeling depleted and lethargic, there's probably a reason for that. So your body is saying, I just need to rest. So listen, begin to listen and check in with yourself. Do I just need to rest? And rest can come in many forms for many people. It could be just a really nice bath. It could be a bath and a nap. It could be that you just want to, binge on some shows, but make sure those shows aren't stimulating in a negative way. Make more like comedies and even things that you want to learn, like documentaries. And another good thing to do when you're feeling depleted and lethargic, even though you feel like you might not want to do that, is sexual arousal. And this is maybe you just don't want to be with another person because you don't have the energy for that. That's fine. But I know you have the energy to begin to do a little self-pleasure. And it'll start to really increase those endorphins, the feel-good hormones coming in. And you'll start to feel a little bit more energized, especially if you bring in the breath through this, and using the breath and your sexual arousal to get that life force energy, that Kundalini coming up. And also another way is to feel your emotions. Energy gets stuck when we push everything down. Right? There's a saying, you push it down, it comes out sideways, right? We don't want that. We want to be able to feel our emotions. Let that energy flow. And the key thing here is to feel the emotion coming through, without putting attachment of what it means, what's this from, why is this coming up? Just feel. Let it move. And this also corresponds to stimulating the senses. Sometimes when we stimulate our senses, we can start releasing those emotions because maybe a smell reminds us of something, So, get a oil or a photo or something that could start to stimulate your senses into allowing the emotions to come up and move through and out. Now, I think nowadays it's probably 50-50 about what people are feeling. I also sometimes think people feel depleted, lethargic, and overwhelmed and anxious at the same time, which is kind of crazy. But again, that's our nervous system. That's our polyvagal complex, which is another talk. But so some activities that you can do that could decrease the charge in your body when you're feeling anxious and overwhelmed. So this one is exhaling. So long exhales will calm the nervous system down. So if you are, like I said, feeling both tired and also, anxious and overwhelmed, the breath is what to come to. And there's so many different techniques for the breath. In and out through the nose is less stimulating than in and out through your mouth. So play with what feels better in your body. Ways to start feeling less anxious and overwhelmed, oddly enough, is engaging in activity, but not engaging in that activity that has caused you the anxiety and the stress and the overwhelming, which are most likely activities that are not in alignment to who you are and what you want to do. So engaging in activities that actually bring you joy, that actually suppress your nervous system down, get into the parasympathetic nervous system, whether that be reading, whether that be painting, whether that be fishing, sitting by water and throwing rocks in the water, whatever starts to calm and stimulate the parasympathetic system in your body. Sexual orgasm, right, is also another way to calm yourself down. So this is another thing, just like the breath, that you can do whether you're feeling lethargic and run down, and also overwhelmed and anxious, is to bring in self-pleasure. Self-pleasure and the breath are beautiful remedies for bringing our nervous system back into co-regulation. And then there are the obvious ones that a lot of people just do and they know about, yoga. Again, yoga can be used to, calm yourself down, whether you need like a yoga nidra, you need just a very restorative practice, or you need to get that blood flowing, need to get that charge going. You might need like a hot yoga or a vinyasa. Meditation can also be calming as well as exhilarating, depending on the music that you might listen to, some guided meditations that you choose, or where you're doing your meditation. Massage is usually the less stimulating, is to calm you down. It's better for when you're feeling anxious and overwhelmed, but also, it does get, through my own experience of being a massage therapist for over 20 years, the stimulation, right? That, it gets the lymph moving, it gets the blood flowing, gets the oxygen coming back into your body. So it's also a really great thing to do when you are feeling, depleted and lethargic. And another one is of course exercise, right? So, when you're not feeling a lot of energy, why do you want to exercise? But even going out for a walk is beautiful. And when you're feeling anxious and overwhelmed, actually a walk is the best exercise to do because it's less stimulating as opposed to a run that can really get your juices flowing more so than you want them to be. So those are just a few common examples on how to bring more of a balance of charge in your body. And I'll do more videos that talk about charge, that talk about this life force energy in the future. But hopefully you enjoyed this, and I am wishing you much love and a beautiful